Hi, Taurus. Welcome to your reading. How are you? I've had a lot of interesting messages come through for you already. So there's something about going in at something blind. You know that phrase, you're going in blind? And it feels kind of overwhelming. And also like wanting to restart something, start from the beginning, like start fresh. And I also feel like your energy is just very tired. Like you've really been doing a lot. Even if you feel like you haven't been doing a lot, you're just tired. Like you don't have the typical get up and go that maybe you normally have. It's taking a lot longer to get started on just basic things that you need to accomplish, things that you want to do. I feel like you have stuff weighing heavily on your mind. I just feel like your soul is tired and there's things that need to get done, and there's stuff doesn't really feel like it's quite going your way. And there's this energy. Well, let me say this. Everything that happens in a reading, when I sit down, things start happening, and they are meant for your reading or whoever I'm reading for. And one of the things that was going on, I sat here for like 5 minutes trying to light this stick of Palo Santo to clear the energy. And it's also just the loveliest smell, and I'm so grateful to the spirit of Palo Santo. But it wasn't lighting. Like, it's still having trouble. And so I was like doing this to like kind of dust the ashes off, to get the dust off. And then this message came through about dusting yourself off and getting back out there, getting back on the horse. But then as soon as that message came through, it was like, it was just this feeling of like, really? I'm trying to get back on the horse. I'm trying to get back in the groove, to feel motivated, to feel excited. But it's like you're having to go at something blind, and it feels very daunting and very exhausting. This energy of restarting was coming through, okay? So, welcome. My name is Allie. If you've never been here before, I am truly grateful to bring these messages through from Spirit and your Spirit team for you. Go ahead and close your eyes if it's safe to do so. Take a deep, mindful breath. Set that intention that what you're meant to hear, what you need to hear, comes through in this reading for you. And we'll go ahead and get started. So I'm being guided to use the Crow Oracle. So we will get our beginning messages here for you with this. And yeah, it still feels just daunting. Daunting is the word. Actually, I'm just going to say it because it's coming through. The theme song to the movie Grease. So I don't know if maybe that's something you've watched recently, or, you know, like a cold time movie. Maybe you like musicals. Yeah, that was interesting. So I'm just going to honor it by saying it because it popped up into my awareness. Spirit, what do you want Taurus to know? Please and thank you. Thank you so much. Look at that. Look how I love it. I love it. Number 34, observation. This makes so much sense because I think what Spirit's wanting you to do, and what you kind of have already been doing, is to observe the energy that you're currently in. Not judging it, not criticizing it, not feeling guilt or shame or whatever the word. Observing it. And then we have abundance, which did come out upside down, kind of crooked. And then we have displacement. Oh, this is really fascinating. And here's why this is fascinating. Number 13, so the Death card in tarot. Wanting to start over, looking for that route of clear-sighted, a clear-sighted path to abundance, but you're going in blind. And it feels like Where you're at right now feels like an energy of displacement, of discouragement, exhaustion, and this kind of upheaval is the word that's coming through. But what I really want to say, they're like, we gave you the word, it's upheaval. Okay, so it's an upheaval kind of feeling, even if it's just internally, that the world as you know it is moving forward, and it's maybe not moving forward energetically in the way that you would like to see it go. That you don't really have a clear picture of what the future looks like, of how to move ahead. But you know that you have to regardless, like dusting yourself off and getting back on the horse. There is no other option. And as a Taurus, I know that this is just innately part of who you are. You are not someone who just lays down to die. You're not someone who just gives up. It might take you 3 years to get back on the horse, but inevitably you're going to get back up on the horse. So doing what this card says, observing where you're at right now, observing your own energy, and then moving from there. You are not meant to stay where you are. You're not meant to stay where you are. You are meant to be displaced. And now this is not, it's kind of like the tower. It might feel frightening in the moment when the displacement is happening, but Spirit is moving you from a place that doesn't work for you anymore. That is not for your highest good. That is not for your highest happiness. It's not your highest timeline. And so Spirit's saying to me right now, why do you want to stay here? Because it's comfortable. I do know as a Taurus, you like to be comfortable. You like things to not that you don't like excitement, but generally you feel more comfortable with the status quo when everything is kind of in its right place, everything's working, all the machine parts are like a well-oiled machine is what I'm getting at. There's no hiccups. There's no, where it's just sunny, easy days. And now hear me out. I'm not saying that you're like, everything has to be sunshine and rainbows and I can never have a problem ever again. I'm simply acknowledging that it feels good when things are good. And so I feel like you've had a series of displacements, of upheavals, of things not working out the way that you had anticipated, or things just feeling a whole lot harder than you would ever want them to be. And for some of you, there may be like great pain that you've experienced, but overall, it feels like a series of events or things that have happened that are very frustrating and uncomfortable and disappointing in some aspects. And it's a series of them. So your energy's been worn down. You're tired. Spirit needs you to observe the fact that you have experienced all of this, and who wouldn't be tired at this point? Like, give yourself a break, cut yourself some slack, observe and be present with and at peace with the fact that this is where you are right here, right now, in this present moment. And Spirit and your spiritual team is not saying you have to fix this right now, because I know you feel like you need to fix it right now to get back to that equilibrium, that cozy environment where everything is working like a well-oiled machine and there's no big hiccups or like pegs in the wheel keeping that momentum stuck. So there may be an energy of stuckness. I do feel like there's something that you feel like you need to take action on or go after, and you feel that, like we said in the very beginning, that you're having to kind of go at it blind. There's no roadmap. There's no map. And you you have to do something, but you are really beating yourself up about the fact that you don't know how to go about it. I think it's very frustrating to you that you don't know how to go about this, or that you don't have the answers, or that you don't know how it's going to turn out when you go after the thing or do the thing that you feel like you got to do. What they need you to know, though, is this upheaval, this displacement that's occurring that you're moving through this rebirth, because death in tarot is about rebirth, an end to an old way of being so that a new way, a brighter, lighter, more enlightened, higher timeline kind of way can be made manifest, has room for you. Because where you are, there's no room for that higher timeline. I mean, there will be, but in this current energy, there's no room for it. And so it feels very heavy, very daunting, very overwhelming. Spirit needs you to observe these energies instead of judging them, judging yourself, rather, instead of judging yourself. Now look at this. They've been telling me as I've been talking, look at the bottom of the deck, look at the bottom of the deck. So we have anticipation, number 3. So I feel like there's all these chairs, empty chairs, and then here you are. And this feels very much like you feel this anticipatory feeling, and it doesn't feel good, I'll say that. It feels kind of like, how do I want to say this? Like you're about to give a big speech and you've invited everyone you know and their loved ones and then some. And it's like 2 hours before the event, and you're looking out at the empty auditorium that's about to be filled, and you're filled with this feeling of dread that you're going to disappoint everyone, and then what will become of you? What will be your legacy? Who will you be? The person who disappointed everyone. And I feel like that is such a heavy burden to place upon yourself. Instead of being in that anticipatory energy of, I'm going to fail. I don't know what I'm doing. I got to go at this blind. I don't have any other choice but to do it, but I'm scared to death that I'm going to fail. Spirit needs you to shift this perspective into an anticipation of abundance, of a new start. Number 1, the Fool in Tarot, a brand new start, taking a leap of faith. Trusting that when you fall, when you leap off of that cliff, Spirit has a safety net for you. They're encouraging you to take that leap, because what's on the other side of your displacement and uncomfortable, icky feelings is the abundance that you have been craving and wishing for and manifesting. But it's also, and you know what, as I say what I'm about to say, I swear I feel this came up in your November reading. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And I think that's why you have this feeling that what you have to do next is you going in blind, because you finally know you can't go at this problem the same old way that you've been going at it. It has to have new energy. And I don't think, thank you, the train is giving me confirmation. I don't think that you having a map would help you in this situation. I think Spirit needs you to go into this blind with fresh, brand new energy, with eyes that have never opened before on this path. You do not know the route. You don't even know what it looks like, because the higher timeline, the new path, requires you to take a leap of faith into the unknown. And oh my gosh, I know this is overwhelming. This is scary. This is daunting, especially when you're already so tired and just fed up and exhausted. It would be so much easier for you to just stay where you are and kind of let the chips fall where they may, and you know, kind of bow out of the limelight, or out of, just to be kind of, take a low profile, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so then it's 5 years down the road and they're like, weren't you working on this thing? Weren't you going to do this thing? And enough time will have passed that you can be like, yeah, but it just wasn't for me. Or yeah, but it just didn't work out. That can't be you. And you know this. You will never be satisfied unless you go at this blind, brand new, unaware of how it's going to pan out. Because that leap of faith, Spirit's not telling you to take a leap of faith so you can fall on your face. I mean, trust that. Trust that you're protected, that your best interests are at heart. And is it possible that you could trip and fall the first time you take a step on the path? Of course. Of course. I remember the first time I went on a hiking trail I'd never been on with my husband, and I was bopping along, and I'm like, well, I'm doing great. Because he had told me it was kind of rugged and rocky. And as soon as I thought, I'm doing great, I tripped over a frickin' rock and fell and like really hurt my leg. And I was like, well, that was dumb. I just thought I was doing really good. So what I'm getting at, but I was okay. I got back up. I was in pain. It was a little embarrassing, but I finished the hike. It wasn't like I never went back to that trail again, and then I was more cognizant the second time. There's a lot of rocks. This is actually a much more difficult terrain than it looks like at times. I need to be a little more careful and not so cocky. So trust that you're exactly where you're meant to be. You're being set up. You've been being set up for this new journey, this new undertaking. And you're meant to be displaced from the old timeline. That's what keeps coming through. That if things feel like they're crumbling around you and you almost feel like you're being pushed out of the nest, like, okay, I've put this off long enough. I've got to just do it. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what it's going to turn out like or look like, but I have to do it. Know that that's really the energy you're supposed to be in, because there's a bigger soul lesson going on here for you. And it's not just about you. That's also very important for you to recognize. You are a person. You have an energy that is meant to lead and guide and encourage. And I'm also hearing nourish other people's souls, lost souls, souls that need a guide. And I don't think you take that lightly either. I feel like you already kind of embody that in a lot of different ways for different people in your life. I think it's just part of who you are. So you've got to remember that this isn't just about you. And they're also telling me if you have children, this is for them as well. So trying to look at things from a different perspective, just like shifting that perspective of nervous and yucky anticipation that I'm going to fail into excited anticipation that when I get through this, on the other side is the abundance that I've been working towards and waiting for. It's really a beautiful, beautiful energy, but I am very cognizant and aware that where you are right now feels really crummy. Okay, so they're not downplaying it, they're acknowledging it. And again, instead of being so hypercritical towards yourself, well, I should have done things this way, or if I had done it then it'd be over and blah, blah, blah. Like, no, you're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. Everything is happening in divine timing. Your energy had to be correct. And this sounds so wild, but the correct quote unquote energy for you is going at this completely blind. It's almost a helpless feeling. And I want to wrap you in a hug, because this isn't easy energy that you're having to navigate here. But soul lessons never are, And so it doesn't really matter what this is, how it pertains to you. What matters here is how you energetically go forward. Are you going to be hypercritical, or are you going to pause and observe? Eckhart Tolle is coming to mind, which is one of my personal teachers that I mean, I don't know him, but like I have claimed him as one of my personal teachers. And his big message is about presence in the present moment. Observation, observing your emotions instead of judging them, observing other people, pausing, being present. So much pain and suffering would be eliminated on our planet if everyone would just take a little more a pause and be more present and observe our emotions before immediately reacting or feeding them or feeding those thoughts, you know? And that is the energy that Spirit is asking for you to begin to embody. Because embodying that energy of presence, that I am here and now, I am safe, I am exactly where I'm meant to be. If I fall down, I will get up again, like I always do. You know, falling down does not make me a failure. I am not a failure. It's shifting your thoughts instead of allowing your thoughts to kind of run roughshod in your mind and all, you know, fill you with feelings of dread and feelings of being a failure and things not working out. It's that shift in perspective, okay? I feel guided to use another new deck here, Angels and Auras. Can we have more information, please, Spirit, for Taurus? More information, please. I'm so grateful to be here with you. If this is your first time here, I would sincerely encourage you, if you feel called, to subscribe, like, share, comment, even if it's just a purple heart. It helps and encourages me immensely. It helps the algorithm, and it truly means more to me than you could know. So I would just like to encourage you to do those things. They're totally free for you, and they help me so much. So, yeah. All right, Spirit, more information for Taurus, please. More information for Taurus, please. Thank you. Would you look at that? Archangel Raziel, number 8 with rainbow. It says here on the card, and I just want to make sure everything is clear on the camera. It says enlightened, adaptable, soulful, connected. And look at the contrast from the crow cards to this card, because the crow cards, and I totally see why they wanted us to use these first, because these kind of muted, I don't know, they're kind of autumnal colors, you know, they're a little dreary colors in contrast to this energy. And what we were just talking about with Eckhart Tolle and presence and observing our thoughts, observing our emotions before we immediately react to them and kind of let them run the show, is so interesting, because it says enlightened, adaptable, soulful, connected. That is the energy, this observational energy, an enlightened energy of how they want you to move forward here. It's getting your energy right. It's getting your energy right. And so I love this. They're holding a lantern here, like a guide, because we were talking about you having to go at whatever this problem or situation is in a blind way, where you don't feel like you have all the answers or a clear roadmap. And they need you to call on your spiritual team in those moments. That is what they're for, man. That is, you know, use your voice, ask out loud. Don't feel silly doing that, because there's so much power in your voice. And there's so much power in our spiritual team, and they want to help us. They want that mutual connection. They will send you more signs. They will help bolster your faith and your stability in yourself, that you can do things, hard things that feel insurmountable, things that feel frightening. You can do these things because you are a guide. Weren't we already talking about that? You are a light for people. So Raziel is an angel I would encourage you to research, to connect with more. But we also have the number 8 here. And so I always think of 8 and the infinity symbol, abundance, connection with spirit. And we have abundance here. There's really nothing to fear. what I wanted to say is there's nothing to fear, my friend. There's nothing to fear. Where you're at right now in this rough displacement energy, upheaval energy, you're not going to live here. You're not going to stay here. And those old thought forms that might be convincing you, if I don't make a move, I don't have to worry about it. But that's just keeping you in this kind of stuck energy, and it's going to continue to feel yucky. Now, again, observe. They're not pushing you out of the nest. You're going to do that on your own. You don't need any help in that department. But what they need you to do is step more into that enlightened energy, a different perspective, a higher perspective, where you are going through the hermit's journey right now, finding yourself, going within, observing these thought forms and feelings, observing where you are and where you want to be. We know where you want to be is in an energy of abundance. And realizing that where you are right now is staying there is not going to get you here. So rely on your spirit team, rely on your guides. Call on them for support. Ask them out loud to show you signs. You are very adaptable. You're a very adaptable person. And I think you're just tired and run down and feeling stuck right now. But I'm telling you, and your soul knows this, your soul knows you're not meant to stay here, and you're not going to stay here. Okay? What else, Spirit? This angel's very significant to you, Taurus. Raziel. Raziel. Do you have any more from this deck that you want to share for Taurus? That might have been the only one that wanted to come out. We'll see. Okay. My right ear is ringing. Would you look at the bottom? Oh my gosh. Spirit relationships. This is what we were just talking about. Connection, intuition, signs, inspiration. So butterflies, I feel like, are very significant for you. If you live in the Western Hemisphere where I live, we're getting into the really cold months. So you may not be seeing them as often. But I feel like they're very significant for you. Yes, this connection with your spirit team. They want to connect with you more. But you have to use your voice and ask. Okay, I'm being called. I don't know why. I'm being called to tell you something. While we shuffle and get more messages here from my own personal life when I was a little kid. I grew up in a very strict religious Southern Baptist home. Okay, and when I was very little, my grandpa wanted me to get baptized and saved in the church. But before that, I had to meet with the pastor of the church privately in this little room. And he was just talking to me about the meaning of being baptized and all that. And he asked me to say a prayer. And so I bowed my head and I was saying this very heartfelt prayer in my head. And so, time's going by and he interrupts me and he says, no, you're supposed to say it out loud. You're supposed to say the prayer out loud. And I was so weirded out by that and taken back by that. I don't even know if I started saying the prayer out loud because I was a little kid. But it's that kind of energy where not to compare this to a Southern Baptist preacher, but there is power in using our voice. So it's not like your spirit team can't hear you in your mind, but there's power in our voice and speaking it out into existence. I don't know. It's a lot easier for them to hear you, to get the message, clearer communication, like the game of telephone. If you just use your voice, use that power and speak it out loud, instead of just keeping things in your head. So that's really coming through. That's interesting. We have the devil, number 15. We have the devil reversed. Okay, and there's that 5 of Wands. I'm not surprised at all to see that. 9 of Cups. Very interesting. And it's so interesting how the cards fell. I'm actually just going to leave them like that. The 9 of Cups, it did come out reversed, but I'm just not feeling that. And how interesting that the wish fulfillment card comes out by abundance. So we have 5 of Wands next to the devil reversed. I think, you know, you've been striving, you've been fighting, you've been working so hard for this level of abundance, of security, of material things. And I'm not saying you're a material person, but it's this level of comfort, of having the things that you need and want in this life, this level of comfort. And this displaced energy that you're in right now, where I don't know that you have all the creature comforts that you would like, or things in general don't feel as comfortable as you would like. Again, they're reiterating this message that where you are right now and what you're navigating is on purpose. This is a soul lesson that you are going through. Some of the things that you have thought would bring you security and happiness are not the be all end all. And this is part of the lesson that you are learning right now in this moment. And they're telling me this might be a hard message for some people to hear, but please know this is coming from an energy of unconditional love, of wanting to help you get to this highest timeline of abundance that you desire. And so it's a recognition, or a need for a recognition, that maybe you don't need XYZ in the material world. Maybe you don't actually need it. Would it be great to have? Yes, but there are other things, there are other forms of abundance that are far greater than creature comforts. And one of those things, and this has been on my own journey as well, is learning how valuable our health is. I could have all of the money in the world, and would that mean anything to me if I got sick, or my spouse or my kids were sick? Would I care at all? Now, I also want to say that living in the United States, and I'm sure other countries as well, is really, really frustrating and difficult, because being healthy in this country is locked behind a paywall. So of course, having money and someone getting sick would probably make things easier so that you could get better treatment. But for the sake of what we're talking about here, having gobs of money doesn't mean a lick of anything to me if the people I love the most, including myself, are sick or not here at all on earth. So again, we're going back to that cognizance, that awareness of the present moment, because the present moment is really all that we have. How can I feel abundant in this present moment? Regardless of the icky things going on around me, how I might feel about things that I have to do moving ahead, how can I find abundance in this present moment? Are my loved ones safe and healthy? Am I safe and healthy? Don't even think a week from now, because I get sucked into that trap. Okay, well, I'm fine right now, but what's 7 days from now going to look like? And it's like, we're not 7 days from now. You know what could happen tomorrow? I could win the lottery. You know what I'm saying? So it's not getting sucked into that, well, next week, what could happen then? Well, if I fail this, what's going to happen? You are here and now in the present moment. And that is all that we have. Are you safe and healthy? Are your loved ones safe and healthy in this present moment? If the answer is yes, then you have everything you could desire. If you have a roof over your head and a working vehicle, my gosh, like, you have a refrigerator that keeps your food cold. You have a washing machine, a dishwasher, like, go through the list. And I know that sometimes I'm not trying to, I really want to drive this home to you, that I'm not trying to say that you're an ungrateful person. So if I'm coming across that way, please know that is absolutely not my intent. I'm just giving you the energy of what this is that I feel like the energy you're in right now is to help you recognize that you have far more abundance, even in this period of upheaval and displacement, than you could imagine. And when you are able to live in an energy of gratitude for those things, it literally opens the door to the abundance. Now, I also want to say that whatever this thing is that you have to tackle and go in blind on, that also is a door opening to a lot of abundance. A lot of doors opening by you doing that, by you going at something differently. But it's just as important, this energy of being aware of our present moment, what we have, the gifts that we have in this present moment. And so I think when this abundance comes in, it's not an if, my friend, it's a when. When this comes in, you're going to be so much better for it. You're going to be even more grateful than you can imagine being at this moment for it. It is going to be something that lasts. This is not like a transitory energy. This is your highest timeline. This is so beautiful. Call in that support. A brand new start. Page of Pentacles. A brand new start, particularly in the area of material abundance, because it's the Pentacles. Going at something brand new, taking that leap of faith. She's literally taking a leap on the Nine of Cups, and that is the abundance, the wish fulfillment abundance card. So I don't think I could say any more on this message in particular. I'm going to get you one more card because I feel called to. I'm just trying to decide which deck I want to end your reading on. I have been staring at the Ancient Stones, which is another newer deck to me. So we will see what your final message is from Spirit here. Thank you so much for being with me, Taurus, and for sharing your precious energy here. Again, if you don't know what to comment, just simply leaving a purple heart means the world to me. Liking, sharing, and subscribing means more than you could know. It helps that pesky, I shouldn't say that actually. It helps the YouTube algorithm that I truly can't wrap my head around still, how to navigate that algorithm. So it helps the video get out to other people. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Well, this just wraps it all up with a nice, pretty little bow. We have the Sanctuary. It says harmony and balance, joy and contentment. This is where you're heading. This is where you're heading, and this is what you desire, and this is where the abundance lies. Harmony and balance, joy and contentment. We were just saying, this is all that you really desire, for things to feel good, balanced, harmonious, for you to feel content. Like there's not a lot of garbage and baggage and junk. That the things feel light and airy and easy and cozy. And the only way to get here is to move through these challenging energies they're telling you have to move through. And you are moving through them. You are. Call on that assistance more. Really connect with Archangel Raziel. I wish I could give you more information on them, but truly they're newer to my awareness. So I just want to encourage you to do more research, because you're very connected to this angel, Raziel. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Yes, this is what you're moving into. Sanctuary, contentment, joy. You've got this, Taurus. Thank you for spending your precious time with me. If you'd like to book a personal reading with me, you can find that information at my website at theseaowl.com. And more than anything, my friend, please take excellent care of yourself. And I will see you soon. Bye.